Well, I'll tell you, the hardest thing always for me as a tackle, outside of just going against a great edge guy, is when you play the Jim Schwartz scheme and you've got a Myles Garrett type who's playing wide, right? So naturally you're feeling like I got to get back and I got to get out to get to him. But then they put a dude over you in like a 4-eye or a 4 who's now rushing at you too. So it's almost like you have to you have to hold him off. You're hoping your guard can take that space up and help you, but now you still got to worry about Myles Garrett. And if you fly out and turn your shoulders, boom, now you're getting TE'd. So it's really awesome. I talked to Myles this morning and he's just pumped. He's over the moon, right? Because you got a guy that hopefully will play on his side and really take what he's doing and just highlight it more, because now you got another threat inside there.
What is up here? Beau Allen here with my favorite Badger of all time, Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. We're in lovely Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're right in your wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a couple hours down the road, still living outside of Madison. So it's nice when you got a job opportunity. You can just hop in the car right from the farm, drive in like 5 minutes before you're supposed to go on air and let her roll.
Yeah, it's comfortable, man. It's exactly what you need. And speaking of the farm, man, you brought that up immediately. You gave me this Hall of Fame beef hat. Tell me about this farm you're rocking.
Yeah, so I got really excited when I retired about food and like, how do I raise the best quality beef known to man without worrying about price, right? Because all your cattle producers out there, they're worried about pinching pennies because it's a tough business to be in. But, one person raises the calves here, then they ship them way over here to a feedlot, and then they're moving them all over the country. Then they go to a slaughter facility here, and it adds all this stress. You don't know what your animals are eating, and you end up getting a product that, beef is still good no matter what, but it's not premium quality as far as the taste, but also how it makes you feel. And you also have no idea what this thing's been eating. And so like 2018, the kiddos were like, "Hey, Dad, we want a cow." And I'm like, on the farm, I'm like, okay, well, that might be a little tricky. There's a little bit more to it than just buying like an outdoor cat. But I was like, but hey, you know what? I can eat this pet. If I ate the cat, people would be looking at me side-eyed, but I'm like,
eating the cat.
Hey, here we go. Like, all right, so this might be cool. So I really went all in on it, and we just basically bought the best genetics possible. And it just so happened that where my farm is in the Driftless area of Wisconsin, about an hour west of Madison, has like some of the most rich, nutritious soils in the entire world, because the glaciers didn't go through there. So they got this incredible topsoil, high fertility. It grows amazing grass. And so we feed our beef all summer on the pasture that's down on the banks of the Blue River. It's got amazing fertility in the soil. So they're getting this incredible nutritious forage. And then as they get closer to going to heaven, we move them up the valley.
That's the industry term.
That's right, the industry term. They're going to heaven, cow heaven. We move them up the valley, and then we feed them our corn silage and our alfalfa that we grow on our farm. And so they live their entire life right there. We try to reduce the stress as much as possible, treat them like the family pet. And it turns out the beef is Hall of Fame quality.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I know Joe brought some beef sticks.
Yeah, I'm pretty dang hungry
we're like,
myself.
How do we work this into the pot? I'm like, just bust them out whenever.
Wisconsin fat guys. I know you can't hear me when I'm doing this, but like, hey, how about eating some beef? Yes, let's do that. We're getting paid. So this is my kid's favorite flavor. It is the apple cheddar, and I gave some to Dan Patrick here on his show, and gave some to Leroy Butler when I saw him the other day. And the reactions when you first bite it are like, "Oh my God,
good, man.
This is not a beef stick that I'm familiar with." No. Because it's got this amazing, like, buttery mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
This is the apple cheddar, like I mentioned. They put, like, cinnamon in there. Yeah. So it's almost like dessert. Where you're eating, like, grandma's apple pie. You know what I mean? And so my kids, as a snack, they're always, they go home, kids want to have, like, fucking chips and, like, all this bullshit. But now we got these in the fridge, and they're beating each other's ass to be able to get here and get home and make sure that they get some of this, because it is so good and it's so good for you. All raised on a family farm, so I'll shut up and let you chew for a second.
Probably pairs nicely with a Garage Beer, one of our other sponsors. Shout out to Garage Beer.
I mean, is there anything better than a meat stick? Is there anything better than my meat stick and your beer? Like, no way, Jose.
All right, Joe, speaking of beef, NFL draft.
Yeah, baby.
So I want to talk to you about the Browns pick. Obviously, Joe is here because as a, legend of the NFL, Hall of Famer, he's announcing a pick for the Browns on day 2, which is tonight. I am a legend of the NFL as well, which is
I agree.
hilarious to think about. But I'll be announcing for the Eagles anyway. Browns kind of made somewhat of a surprising decision to trade out of that pick. What's kind of your reaction there? With trading the pick, obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars picked up Travis Hunter. Browns go back and get Mason Graham. Like, what do you think?
So I know you grew up, silver spoon in your mouth, extraordinarily wealthy. So you probably didn't have this experience like I did with my humble beginnings.
Now you sound like Chris, dude.
in Brookfield, Wisconsin. But you go and you sit on Santa's lap when you're a kid. You tell him, "I want that little Red Ryder BB gun," and there is no indication whatsoever that that thing is not going to be under that tree on Christmas morning. And then you wake up on Christmas morning and you open it up, and it's an IOU, and it says, "Hey, this IOU is good for a Christmas present next year." Yeah. And you're like, "Well, fuck!" But they're like, "But it's going to be more expensive than what I would have got you this year." And you're like, "Well, I don't give a shit. I wanted it now, Daddy. I wanted the BB gun now." And so that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
And my son, he's 8. Jack, shout out to Jack. He is a enormous Browns fan, like way more passionate than I was, even when I was playing. You know how it is when you're a kid. But my wife sent a reaction because he was watching last night, and he threw the freaking pillow. He was so pissed, because everybody had already thought. With Cam Ward, everybody knowing him going number 1, everybody had already bought their Travis Hunter jerseys, and you'd already believe that we got the Shohei Ohtani of football, and there's a lot of belief and excitement, and to not have that, I think it stings a little bit. But when you look at what they got for him, I mean, the haul that they got is historic. The number of picks that they were able to get, and they still got.
It's a 26 first rounder, another second rounder today, and a fourth rounder today, right?
It's something like that. It's way more than they should have. But I think when you look at how drafts break down, there's always these little cliffs in talent. So everyone kind of knew the top 4 guys. And then after that, there was a little bit of a cliff, I think. And so the value to go from 5 and get over that cliff to get a guy like Travis Hunter, who I think a lot of people had as the best player in the draft, it had to cost them a lot of money. And so the Browns were in a good position to trade out. And, the realistic idea and looking yourself in the mirror if you're the Browns is like, hey, if we don't have a quarterback, we're not going to compete for a Super Bowl. So don't go for that one guy is going to fix everything, because you really need more than that, and you need a quarterback.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if you think about it, the way the cap is in Cleveland, it's smart. Try to get some draft capital for the future. You paid Myles Garrett in the offseason. Listen, I'm a fan of a white defensive tackle.
Yeah, right. Here we go.
In the top 10. This is good for the brand.
Let's go, man. It's
Joe.
good for the
Come
brand.
on.
I love it. I
think
it.
Mason Graham he's a pretty explosive player. He plays really strong. I mean, you spent a lot of time in Cleveland. What's something you could tell a guy like that who just got drafted, top 10, he's going to Cleveland, a city you're very familiar with, you're beloved there, rightfully so. What's something that you'd say to him about the great city of Cleveland and the Browns?
Well, one, he's going to love it there, right? He's a guy that loves football, high motor, white guy, defensive lineman. You know all about that.
Tight hips, great locker room.
He is going to just be a superhero there, because he's a great football player. And, he doesn't probably look like the greatest athlete in the world, but the guy has some incredible talent. He jumps off the screen when you watch him on film. And my buddy Aaron Shea, who's a huge Michigan fan, played at Cleveland, lives in Cleveland. As soon as we took him, he's like, "Oh, man, I couldn't be more excited. This guy's a dog." He doesn't look like it when he's sitting there in his suit, but he is going to be.
He looks explosive, man. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Braden Fisk for the Rams last year, and he was really good, productive young player. And I played in that Jim Schwartz scheme, that wide 9.
Baby,
you can really pin your ears back and go. And then when you're playing next to Myles Garrett and you're an interior guy, you're gonna get quarterback's gonna flush up in the pocket to you. You have such a threat there on the edge with Myles Garrett that you can eat inside. So I mean, I love the pick.
Yeah,
it's not as sexy as Travis Hunter, but for me, it kind of is.
Well, I'll tell you, the hardest thing always for me as a tackle, outside of just going against a great edge guy, is when you play the Jim Schwartz scheme and you've got a Myles Garrett type who's playing wide, right? So naturally you're feeling like, holy shit, I got to get back and I got to get out to get to him. But then they put a dude over you in a 4-eye or a 4 who's now rushing at you too. So it's almost like you have to you have to hold him off, so you can't just bail the fuck out of there.
Right.
So you're trying to hold him off. You're hoping your guard can take that space up and help you. But now you still got to worry about Myles Garrett. And if you fly out and turn your shoulders, boom, now you're getting TE'd. So it's really awesome. I talked to Myles this morning, and he's just pumped. He's over the moon, right? Because you got a guy that hopefully will play on his side and really take what he's doing and just highlight it more, because now you got another threat inside there.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be a fun tandem to watch. Okay, talking draft last night still. We were downstairs in the hotel lobby bars with James White and Michael Brock. Conrad Zagzebski's my roommate at Wisconsin. Shout out Zags. But we were watching the draft, and Will Campbell's whole family's down there. They come in, they're all wearing Patriots gear. He must have been rolling like 50 deep.
Oh, wow.
And so I was just kind of thinking, you went 3rd overall in 2007. Mm-hmm. He went 4th overall last night. You played 11 years straight, did not miss a single snap. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the one piece of advice for a guy like Will Campbell, just to kind of like create that longevity? To like, what's the secret? Is there one thing? Is it beef sticks?
It's beef sticks. I'm here to tell you today, it's Hall of Fame beef sticks. You can get it at sixspringsfarms.com. We'll ship it right to your door. Might even autograph a card for you. But no, I think when you look at, all right, what makes a guy an Iron Man? What makes him a guy that can play a decade and be reliable, be durable? Obviously, genetics is like 90%, right? There's some dudes,
density,
right? Yeah, that's right. You got to have those dense bones. So hopefully, he drank a lot of whole milk as a kid, like I did. Just give him that cow and then put him into the kitchen every day, just suck on them udders. But outside of that, if that's not a possibility, it's obviously really, really important. You have to take care of your body mobility-wise, right? So I did a lot of yoga. I did a lot of banded work with my hips and my knees to be able to continue to open up those joints, to give you that mobility that, how it is, man. You're locked into a block, and that pile is falling on you. And you got to have, one, the awareness to know, but also be able to have that mobility to get yourself out of those binds. Because I can't tell how many times I had people, the whole pile fall on the back of your legs, and you got to have that mobility in your joints to be able to move and to be able to fall and bend with it. So that's a huge part of it. Obviously, training's a big part of it too, but just watching that film and having that awareness of where the other 21 guys are on that field, so that you're never just so locked into your guy, you don't realize when that danger is coming.
And then this is the thing that I'm always curious about. Like, everyone made such a big deal about his arm length and stuff pre-draft. Obviously, the Patriots didn't care. As a D lineman, it's like we get the report, when we're getting ready to prep during game week, and it'll be, oh, this is so and so. He's got 33-inch arms. He's 6'6", and I don't even look at that as a D lineman, But all the draft pundits are so caught up in that kind of thing. So what's your take on that? Is that as important as some people think?
I'm very sensitive. I got some scars about that, because that was the knock on me coming out.
Oh, okay.
And the thing that's interesting, as a junior, you get the scouts come in and they measure you and they time you in the 40, right? And then as a senior, when you're coming out, you go to the combine, they do the same thing. And my biggest beef, no pun intended, is that the measurement is not even reflective of how long your arms are as a tackle, right? If you're a boxer, measure me from here to here, right? Because to my fist, because that's, boom, that's how far away I can hit you. But as a tackle, I'm squared up on the guy, and I'm hitting him with my palms, but I'm also not striking like a boxer.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to connect my hands to the player so I can control him with my feet. And the way they measure at the combine, it's archaic. It's like a lot of this stuff. They measure from like this point of your shoulder to the tip of your fingers. So like if a guy's got real long fingers, we've all seen the guy that's got like those hands that are like this. He may have short arms, but he's got really long fingers. And because they consider long arms or short arms like about 2 inches difference, like those little variables in hand size, how long your shoulder deltoid is, your all these little things that are insignificant completely to actually being able to block a guy come into the factor there. And so I think it really has no impact, because one, the measurement is flawed, and two, you're just not playing the game the way they used to, where guys are trying to like punch the shit out of them like a boxer.
Everyone's under punching.
Yeah, now you're just trying to grab them. And so, do you want 40-inch arms to be able to do that from across the room? Yeah, but the difference between guys' arms length overall is just about like that, which is, it doesn't make any difference. It's within the margin of error. And I was saying, as a junior, I think my arms are like 35 and a half. And somehow when they measured me at the combine, it was like 33 and a half. I'm like, how do my arms shrink between my junior and senior year?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think that's a metric that is important whatsoever. I'm trying to think if there's some one for like D line where it's the same. It's like a 40 for a nose guard. It's like,
who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, if I'm running 40 yards, it's a bad play.
Yeah. We've had a bad thing
or
happen here.
Pick six. I'm trying to show off my speed.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Show up on film, get the attaboy on Monday morning. Exactly. But I'm wondering, like, is there a measurement at the combine you think is really important and reflective?
Yeah. For D linemen, I think the broad jump is actually.
I was just going to say the broad jump. To me, that's like the only
indicator.
one.
Yeah. Or I guess the vert, or else like a 10-yard split for the
10
40.
would be good.
But like, to me, okay, you're benching 225, and that's the be all end all bench metric. It's like, to me, that's just an indication of like, has this guy been training?
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
Has this guy worked on this very specific thing? Is he going to be a weight room guy?
Does he have a shoulder injury? Like, that's all it tells you. Like, you either do or you don't.
Yeah.
But I like the broad jump because, first of all, it shows explosion in your hips, right?
Yeah.
Which is very important.
Yep.
But also, it shows body control. And that's why I like it more than vertical. Because vertical, once you leave the ground, it's like over. It doesn't matter. You can fall on your back, and who cares? But with the broad jump, in order to have a good broad jump, you got to be able to explode, but then control yourself when you land. Because you can't jump too far or you fall backwards. You can't jump too short or you're just not going to have a good broad jump. So I think it's a really good indicator, but it's one that you barely hear everybody talk about.
I know. It's funny, man. All right, Joe. We don't have a ton of time. I know you have a busy day, man. You were walking me through your schedule. They're working you. But back in Green Bay for the draft, a ton of former Badgers. Like last night, I ran to a bunch of guys I played with: James White, Melvin Gordon. But I was looking through the list of everyone announcing on day 2, and it's kind of a who's who of Badger football. Is there anyone that you are really excited to run into, a former teammate, maybe a college teammate, or someone you played with in the NFL that you're just stoked to see today?
Well, honestly, it was you. Like, because we're boys, obviously, and
I wasn't even looking for that.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job. Maybe the producers in your ear are giving you good questions. Yeah, but no, honestly, like we always have a good time when we hang out, just when the cameras are off. But we always have good conversations when the cameras are on. So I think it's cool that the NFL is trying to highlight Wisconsin-based guys, and so I am excited. I'm doing some of the hosting tonight at the draft, and really, I looked at my script yesterday, for half a second, and I'm like, interview Wisconsin players, done. Throw this in the trash. Let's go.
Yeah, no prep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what's so cool, man. But like for me, like Tim Crumry, nose guard legend. I don't think I've ever personally met him, but really? He played football with my uncle back in the 80s, and like he's one of those guys that like you hear stories about as a nose guard, like. He had like 120 tackles one season, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, those are like middle linebacker numbers.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. So I'm surprised you didn't ever met him because he used to coach D-line for the Bengals, and he was famous for wearing them dudes out when he'd come and work them out. Oh my God. Like I remember watching, we had 3 potential first round picks when I was a sophomore, and I watched the workout, and he comes out there in cowboy boots and like tight Wrangler jeans and like a white t-shirt. And basically it's like bull in the ring, like for 2 or 3 minutes until he makes like the D-line dude submit. And then the next one comes in, he does the same thing. And he's doing it at 50 years old in cowboy boots, and he's wearing these dudes out where like these guys that are supposed to be in the best shape of their life are going to the sideline and puking. He's a fucking legend.
Absolute legend. I can't wait to pick his brain a little bit and talk with him. But other guys too, like Lee Evans, I didn't overlap with him. So see him, and then guys I played with and against Travis Frederick. Like I haven't seen Freddie in a long time.
He's been in a little like cave doing computer stuff. He's a fucking genius.
No, exactly. I got one more thing I want to ask you real quick, Joe, because we've got a big meeting with the commissioner. Rogers,
for that,
he's like, I got to talk to Beau Allen and figure out the direction of the league. What are we doing?
Cam Ward, put him on the back burner. I got Beau here.
Talked about this before off air, but like you were in Germany, coaching football in Germany. Just like, what was that experience like, man? Like, was that, I don't know, like that just seems like such a foreign concept, literally and figuratively. So like, how was that experience for you and your family?
Yeah. So personally, with me and my wife, the best experience I've ever had was hiking the Inca Trail. 4 days, you're camping, you go along and you finish in Machu Picchu. Like one of the best things I've ever done for my relationship with my wife. I think the best thing I've ever done for me and my family and my kids was going and living abroad and coaching in Germany and allowing them to experience a different culture, putting them in hard situations and making them figure it out. You know, my son, he is a football player over here, but they didn't have it over there for youth, but they had rugby. So put him in rugby, freaking loved it. I put my daughter in rugby, so she was playing on a basically all-boys rugby team, and just seeing how they change and build self-confidence by being able to put them in those situations and telling them, figure it out. And they learn independence and they learn confidence because they're able to overcome like the language barrier and the fact that I'm playing with a bunch of boys and I'm playing a sport I don't know. And then also being able to just travel. And as a family, we got really, really close living abroad because you just don't have that network you do here. And you don't have the distractions you do back home.
Yeah. What about the football itself? Like, would you say that like a German O-lineman is somewhat comparable to a Wisconsin O-lineman?
Yeah. So I've said this a number of times, but like the guys I got to coach, I was lucky because we had a really good offensive line over there. But like had they have the resources and development we had growing up, they would all be Division I picks, Division I prospects, and a lot of them would be draft picks because they got the talent. Actually, my left guard, Leander Wiegand, he's now in the IPP program in the U.S. He was in Florida training.
At like IMG or something like that.
Yeah, whatever that academy is, and he had like 40-some reps in the bench. Not that it matters, like we've already determined, but he's strong as shit.
But that's a tough guy. Like,
but
you
like
hear 40, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so very first game of the season, we were playing against Stuttgart, who was one of the best teams in the league. We were up there, big soccer stadium, was a big environment for them. 10,000 fans, which for us was like practice and training game, but for them was like they couldn't even imagine it. Yeah. And he had a really shitty game. And I talked to him after, and I'm like, "What's going on, man? You were not the same player as you were in practice in the game. Like, what's going on in life? Like, why did this happen?" And he was like, "Joe, I've only played 17 games of football in my life." And I was like, "Sorry?" Like, I played 17 games before I was 14 years old. And he's like, "I just started playing football 2 years ago." And like, he kind of explained it. I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that." We take for granted here that we start youth football and we've got all these great resources and the weight training and the nutrition and everything, and like they have none of that, and they're just learning the game, but they love it, dude.
That's how, like, I think I told you I was in Italy. My buddy Ryan Griffin played professional football in Italy, and it was the same kind of thing. Like, these guys, they barely speak English, they don't really know the game of football, but they love the game. Like, it was like we were speaking in like just football idioms the whole week, and they would just quote like the program any given Sunday, and like remember the Titans at us all day. It was so funny. Well, shit, Joe, I'll see you tonight, man. Thanks a lot for coming on. Always a pleasure talking to you, Joe. Actually, just so you guys know, when I lost weight, I went from 330 to like 280, what I am now. Largely in part to Joe Thomas and his wisdom. So look at this incredible Hall of Fame specimen here.
Look at this specimen right here, man. You did it yourself, and I'm proud to maybe have had just a tiny bit of help there. And I hear there's a little competition right now with you and Jason about who can be the fit as a fiddle here.
It's body fat percentage lost. You get 2 points per percentage of body fat lost, and then 1 point per pound of lean mass gained.
Okay. So we'll download after this. I know how to cheat the bod pod. My last year in the NFL, the Dexa. I'm sure you didn't. I know how to cheat it. I did it almost every day, like my last year, because I wasn't practicing.
Don't tell
Kelsey. My knee was fucked up. But I learned how to cheat it. So we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk. Joe Thomas, appreciate you, the man.
Thanks, man.